Hello, everybody. I don't know who is here, who's not here, but this is for eternity. So, welcome to HT's Den, the first podcast of the administr. See, I already start making mistakes. So, this is the first podcast basically for Astromegistus. And these 15-minute podcasts, typically on a Saturday, maybe at different times, usually at noontime EST, they're meant to give you some insight into what's going on with WeFit. With see now I'm making that mistake again. Who's showing you what's going on with Astromegistus, where we've been, what we are planning. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all of the people that are working with us. Among them, also our astrologers, of course, but also the people that do the talk show that are not astrologers. And I hope that everybody, is having fun. It is the beginning, it's early days, and we're just trying to do the best that we can to get the word out, to make people aware that we're here, that we're uh, good in what we're doing. Not even just good, we're really excellent at what we're doing. And what we're doing is, and every one of us from a different perspective and a different way, we are saying, come to us. We want to help you. We want to give you insight into who you are, what you're here to do in this life, help you with answering difficult questions, helping in the decision making. And I will get into that all a little bit later in our short podcast today. But the idea is again to give you also updates. So let's start where we start. We had a really interesting start about 2 weeks ago on the 17th of October when our company started. And again, the company is when you go to the QR code in the top right corner, it's astromegistus.com. We do offer all sorts of things, starting with um, any kind of astrological reading that is basically the run of the mill, the usual that you would know, all the way to then also going into coaching so that people that need additional advice or want additional advice or feel very comfortable with the person that they're talking with um, can guide. This is what coaching does, it guides. So, to make that a little bit more comprehensible, the astrological readings really are information giving. They're here to really give you that information that you need to have to move on, to improve, to find answers. The coaching is the guidance afterwards, the additional question answered. As an example, you get your life reading done, your natal reading done, but then you start to realize, great, now I have a better understanding of who I am and what I'm all about, and um, what are things that I could do. But now you go like, okay, excuse me. But now you go, okay, what am I going to do with this? What is happening with me? Why am I in this situation? And you say, um, this person that did the natal chart with me, they do understand my situation quite well now, and they do actually, and they can always look at that situation and they can go forward and say, oh yeah, you're having this or that coming into your life, which is called the predictive readings. And with those, it can guide you and help you further making decisions. And then, as a matter of fact, as the next point, you can then go ahead and find maybe a location where you would say, this or that is a location where I might feel best, where I find the career of my life, maybe another location where your love of life might flow the best. So, what I'm saying is that this is called a relocation chart. And once you are aware of what it is that you're looking for or what you want to do, you can always take a look at okay, am I really in the best location for this? you can make many things work where you are. It doesn't mean that every time you get new information, you have to move somewhere else. But the point is that literally you do have locations on this planet that are more supportive for certain things than others. And that's another thing that we can help you with. But this wasn't about astrology and explaining astrology. This is more about us explaining the company itself to give you a head start on where we are at with what we're doing. So, in this context, I would say it is interesting then to look into, okay, what is it that these guys do that helps me, that benefits me? And we also know that typically we do find astrologers just kind of like how we find doctors, medical people. We are in a crisis situation. And the second that we have a crisis situation, we are looking for help. This could be splitting up with a partner, this could be all sorts of things. And, crisis means you are at ends wits end. I'm sorry. Yet at wits end, you don't really know what's going on anymore. No matter what you do, no solution helps to find a way out of it, and you literally you're kind of desperate, and that's when you come and try to find an answer. And again, we at Astromegistus can really help you with that, and this is sincerely and genuinely meant. So what's been going on with the business? So it is actually, it turns out it is very difficult to get the things done the way I would like them to get done. Not so much with the people that are wonderful, all the astrologers that came together and decided to be present on the website and to do talk shows. The difficult part is actually programming and coding the large language model, the internet, the artificial intelligence, so that it can actually be of assistance and be uh, stable enough to get the results that I would like to get for the for the what we call automated readings, which means there's nobody involved. You essentially just book this, pay your price, and you get a actually quite beautiful printout. And I wish I could show the original result already, but telling the truth, again, we were having difficulties with this. It is hard to actually get from one source all the different parts so that it is in the quality that I want, what I would like to present. So dealing with this is one situation. Then we also started to realize that the message that we have on the homepage is a little bit, it's a great and beautiful looking homepage, but the message that we have on the homepage in actuality is not really bringing home what you need to see. It's kind of like philosophical, but it does not really sell the information that we're here to help you with your crises, with your questions, and which chart you need to have to understand the answers. So this is actually something we're working on right now, getting this worked out, together with establishing also an area, a field in which you can enter your promotional code. And that code would be um, to help also people to make references. So, in other words, to refer us. We would like to also offer a few other things that at the moment are in the works. It's all in the background. So there's some rework, even though you may say, yeah, but you're a new website. Why is it? That's just it. When you start something new, you can try as hard as you can. There are always some things that you don't manage to finish. There are things that you realize, what, in the larger good, it just doesn't work out the way you want it to be. And in a sense, you want to have something that you realize is more directly talking to the people you want to reach. And in an environment also that we find ourselves, which is convoluted with news, with people looking for attention, Instagram, and TikTok and whatever influences and everything, getting heard, bringing the voice out is not so easy actually, and we're doing our best. And also something I would like to explain. So, for example, the avatars. Some of you might have seen the avatars floating around on some of the social media, and they are great. I mean, they're fun, they're good looking, they're having some really good moments out there. But we had to realize that this is something that you probably start doing when the company is a little bit more mature and is dealing with, like, a good flow of income and everything else, because in the end they're giving you entertainment, and they give you little bits and pieces of about what astrology expresses, but it doesn't really help in getting the business going. And obviously eventually any motor starts running without having fuel, and the fuel to business obviously is money and customers. So at the moment it doesn't work, and we decided at Astromegistus management that we're going to halt the avatars for the moment. We did have a few more in the pipeline, but it makes more sense to bring home the bacon and to really focus on getting the message out, because in the end this is really what we want, and everybody who works here really wants to provide the service. People here at Astromegistus really want to make everybody maybe a little bit more whole. Again, give answers where answers are needed, provide the assistance and the support. And I always say, look, if you have a question that is like yes, no, like for example, should I sell my house now, or should I buy this house, or should I take this job? Um, my mother is sick. Is she going to get better? Is she going to get worse? These, for example, are so-called horror questions. In other words, you want to have an answer, a yes or no answer, or understand the picture a little bit better. It may sound crazy, but actually, the moment you go to an astrologer who does this and understands what you want, what your actual question is, you will get the answer. And it's a serious question. It has to be a serious question. It has to be something that really is important to you. But when you do that, you will find out that you will get an answer that actually is the correct answer. When a few weeks later, a few months later, you look at what you've been told, and it's somebody who knows how to do this will tell you almost in time when things will happen, what will happen, and if the positive or the negative outcome that you have to expect. Um, so it is something that is definitely helpful. You have to be aware that you get the answer that is the correct and the truthful answer. Sometimes it might not be the answer you at the first moment want to hear, but it is the truth. So, in decision making processes, this is absolutely invaluable. I mean, imagine you could have avoided buying that foul property, or imagine if you only had known the job that you were going for. Yeah, you were getting it, but it was a lousy job, or all other things. There's much you could avoid by simply spending a little bit of money and getting the answer. I mean, I wouldn't do this frivolously. You wouldn't want to do this for little things. That would be too much money spent on things that are not really of consequence. But looking into consequences, I mean, talking about partnership, for example, relationships, oh my God, of course, you would want to have not only just a yes or no, should I marry or not this person, but there's relationship charts. So you might want to have a relationship chart done with your loved one, and find out if this is just really, a dynamic moment for you where you feel completely in love and don't see nothing wrong at all. But in the end, maybe it's not really meant to be for the long term. We do all have these flings that go high, and then they're like a wildfire on straw. They burn out quicker than you can think. So with those words, this is called the synastry or relationship chart. With those words, I would say, come to Astromegistus, do the best that you can, and we certainly will. We will be here for you. We will do the coaching. And with those words, it's only a 15-minute podcast. So I want to finish, even though right now you don't, have the opportunity to do any comments, because even though we're live, there are not many viewers. That's okay. But in future, I'm sure there will be viewers. Leave your comments. Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. And obviously, I'm here to learn, and so are all of our people that are in the talk shows. Give them a shout out, visit them, have fun with them, and soon enough, we will be probably much more popular, looking at many more visitors, and absolutely, we will be improved. That is what it's all about. We're here to reinvent, improve, figure out how to do it better, and provide a service to everybody that you would want to come back to, that you find interesting. Oh, speaking of which, real quick, even though that is at the moment somewhat in the stars, literally speaking, um, but one of the things we really plan to do is bring also webinars, and almost all of our astrologers do for one form or another of training, teaching astrology as well. So I would say get ready. In about half a year, we will have amazing webinars. And also, I'm working hard. I don't know if it will happen because of the technical issues in the background, etc. But I'm working hard on getting a marketing campaign going with, major discounts. So for particularly, it is actually a worldwide push, but particularly in Northern America, so the US and Canada, um, look out for Black Friday specials. They should be coming, and they should be available, with links to our Black Friday specials. So there will be more concrete information in coming weeks. This is just a little teaser. But Black Friday to Digital Monday, we do plan some specials as well here at Astromegistus. So we look forward to having people come and listen in. We are happy to welcome people as the customers that we love to have. And at the moment, happy All Hallows, as today is a somber holiday, actually. And I wish everybody the best. Thank you very much.